Hello and welcome to Warhammer Wednesday. This is going to be a little series of videos where I review each one of the models in the Gathering Storm Part 2 Triumvirate of Ynnead. And to start off, we will be looking at the Sword of Ynnead, otherwise known as the Visarch. I'll talk about the model itself and then I'll talk about the rules and things like that. So, here is the Visarch, lovely little model. Very quick and easy to build, construct. The sword is huge, absolutely huge. So here he is next to a lowly Space Marine, and I think I said before that his sword is taller than a Space Marine, which it is. So that just goes to show, size-wise, again, he is taller than a Space Marine, head and shoulders taller, so one could only guess that he's probably 9 or 10 feet tall, because Space Marine's about 7, but that just goes to show that, you know, models have increased in size, in my opinion, over the years. But there you go. Compared to a Custodian Guard, he is probably the same height, if not, it's definitely a bit slimmer, obviously, but there you go. And these Custodians are supposed to be, you know, biggest and all the rest of it, but there you go. I thought I'd just make that little size comparison, size wise. But yeah, the model is a lovely model to build, plenty of detail. It's quite straightforward to make, not too many mould lines either to take care of, and it's going to be quite a straightforward model to paint and give you a lot of options to use your colour palette. You can use lots of reds, like Mephiston red and Wild Rider red, and then the sword, it's up to you what colour you want to do the sword, but they've sort of done it as a Sotek green and a Temple Guard blue with some Baroth blue. I mean, if you haven't got Baroth blue, I'd strongly recommend you get it, because they use it a lot in this set. And it's a nice blue paint as well. So there you go. That is the Visarch. I'll just talk about the rules and things now from the book. He's 150 points, not too bad. Looks like he counts as an HQ choice. His weapon skill, ballistic skill is 7. His strength, toughness and wounds are only 3. His initiative is 7 though. He's got 4 attacks, leadership 10 and a 3+ save. He's basically Ivrain's chosen champion. He's an eternal warrior. He has fleet, independent character, precision strikes, rampage, strength from death, and stubborn. Let's just have a look at this strength from death rule, shall we? Right, so this strength from death rule, whenever a unit is completely destroyed within 7 inches of one or more non-vehicle units that consist only of models with this special rule, you can pick one of the units to make a soul burst action, but you can't pick the unit if it's locked in combat, fallen back or gone to ground. With the soul burst action, it can do one of the following. It can immediately move as if it were a movement phase, it can immediately shoot as if it was shooting phase, or it can immediately make a charge move if it was a charge sub phase. They can only do this soul burst action once per turn, but that's pretty cool. So unit destroyed, 7 inches of him, and then he can just move, or he can charge, or, you know, whatever. That's pretty cool. That might be useful, but don't forget that that he's got that special rule. It's something that you might overlook. Champion of Ynnead. Whenever an Eldari model is slain within 7 inches, roll a dice. On a 4+, he immediately regains a lost wound. If the model was a character, you add 1 to the Visarch's attacks to a maximum of 7. So he's got 4. You've got 3 units that die around him. Then he's got 7. Then he's always got the 7 attacks. But obviously you have to roll this 4+. So that's pretty decent. So the more things around him that dies, you know, you can repair his wounds. He's only got 3 wounds though, so I don't know how useful. I mean, that might be useful if you get 1 unit or 2 units around him, but then you've only got 50-50 chance of him getting that wound back. But the attacks characteristic thing sounds cool, but it has to be a character that's slain near him. I don't know whether that's going to make that much of a huge difference, to be fair. The Warden of Ivrain, if he's in a unit with Ivrain, you can choose for Ivrain to pass lookouts rolls automatically, and then you just allocate the wounds to him. Now she's got 3 wounds too, so that might be worth doing. And also, he always passes the initiative test when making a glorious intervention to take Ivrain's place. So there you go. And then the way of the Visarch. The Visarch always has a warlord trait generated from the Inari warlord traits table, even if he's not your warlord. So that's pretty cool. So it always counts as that. Now the blade that he has is so he doesn't have a pistol or a flamer weapon or anything like that. He's just got the sword. So it's a pure melee character. And this sword, called the Azuvar, the Sword of Silent Screams, it adds +2 to his strength. It's AP2, it's melee, silence, and two-handed. It's going to be hitting with strength 5. That's AP2. Now silence, enemy units within 3 inches of him use their lowest leadership rather than the highest. Again, I would have rather preferred sort of instant death or something like that, because leadership lowest, it might be 8, it might be 7, but there you go. It's not like he creates fear or any sort of modifiers that lowers their leadership anyway. So I don't know how useful that sort of thing is. But it's an AP2 strength 5 sword with 4 attacks, 5 with him charging. So, and his weapon skill's 7. So that's pretty decent. So he's not really a tank. He doesn't have an invulnerable save as much as I can see. He's just got his normal 3+, and he's only got 3 wounds. So he's a little bit like a Space Marine captain, I'd say, but with a slightly better sword and a few extra rules that sort of complement Ivrain. And he really is sort of Ivrain's sort of chosen bodyguard type dude. So there you go. But is he really worth 150 points? I'm not quite sure. I'd probably say that's quite reasonable, maybe, especially his high stat line. But I'll let you decide on that. Anyway, absolutely fantastic model. Joy to build. Lovely to sort of practice your red and your red washes and things, and definitely spend a lot of time on that sword and painting it. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.